Hi everyone, I thought I'd provide a little update. I've been back now from Florida for a full week, just doing the complete R&R, and it is boring as hell. Um, in terms of recovery, I've done absolutely nothing. No swim, bike, run. The goal was basically veg out on the couch and recover as fast as I can, sort of until Lake Placid training commences. In terms of my recovery, I feel brilliant. I think my muscles and legs and everything have recovered. The only thing is I don't know what you call it, fatigue or body or something still needs recovery. I find I'm exhausted every day. The last couple of days, like yesterday, I decided I'm gonna watch Oppenheimer. Fell asleep at 10:30 in the morning on the couch. Woke up at 12, ate some lunch, went back to try and watch it again. Fell asleep at 1:30, woke up at 3. I stupidly went out last night and had drinks. I only had 2 drinks. Had a massive hangover this morning, so dropped the kids at school and slept. Came back, slept from 9:30 to 12. Went and got some food and picked up my weekly comics. I'm off alcohol after. You've probably heard me say that like 5 times already on this channel, but I'm off alcohol. And so I'm just gonna wait until the rest of the week and still do nothing, just sleep when I need to sleep and just lounge around. I'm meeting my friend and Arvind, who was my paddler for Ultraman. He just got a new gravel bike. I've got my new gravel bike that's never been used, and my friend's been waiting for ages. So we're gonna go gravel bike riding on Sunday. I'm gonna take along the GoPro and capture some of that as well. So that'll be my first hit outs. But next week, I'm going to be back in the pool. I'm going to do some light running and some light spinning on the bike. Nothing serious, just whatever I feel like, because I'm still sort of in the recovery stage. And I'm not going to commence training for Lake Placid until the end of March. I'm going to do a 4 to 6 week block leading into that. But today I'm going to show you basically how I plan for that. But the only other issue I had was toes. I had badly damaged toes, as you can see by. If you want to look away, I'll give you 3 seconds. Okay, as you can see by this toe, it's badly damaged. I went to the doctor about it because friends kept saying it looks really bad. You should see a doctor. I didn't particularly care, so I went to the doctor. The doctor said this needs to see a podiatrist because it needs to be drained and have the fluid or something checked for infection, something like that, and then they'll need to lance the toenail to get it off. So I contacted my friend. I think he might be on vacation. He never got back to me, so I got bored waiting. Did it myself. I didn't cut the toenail off. I just put a needle in various positions and drained all the fluid I could out of it, and it seems to be much better now, to the point where I think I can comfortably wear shoes and run around. But apart from that, no injuries, nothing to report. So what I'm doing now, because I'm so bored, like I just can't sit around on the couch. I was training 5 or 6 hours a day for the last 5 months. I can't get my head around sitting on the couch doing nothing. So I am starting to do some prep for Lake Placid in terms of planning. As you might know from this channel, I largely coach myself. I did get a coach for Ultraman because I've never done that distance before, but I've done Ironmans a few times. I know that despite what people say, coaching philosophies, they kind of all break down to the same thing. There's a few nuances here and there, but what I'm going to do with my coaching is more of a higher volume. So I discovered from Ultraman my body responds very well to volume. And naturally I gravitate towards an 80-20 plan. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to push it a little bit further into a 90-10. And I'm going to aim for between about, at the very low end, 15, but probably more like 17 hours per week, pushing into about 22 to 25 hour training weeks over a 5 to 6 week plan. And so I'm going to just show you how I do that. This is how I lay out my week. I don't really use training peaks because I've got training peaks, but the swimming is just never ever works. I can never forever get swimming to work, and it just grinds my gears. So I got rid of training peaks as a training platform, and I basically just design my own on spreadsheets and so on, and I use Garmin. And so each week, it's the same with my wife. Like when she's got a sprint coming up, so I'll design her plan on a spreadsheet, and because you can tweak it as you're going along based on feedback. I'm going to do this like a full 10-week plan. Oh, sorry, for me it's going to be a 16 to 18-week plan. But each week I can just go and review and say, hey, I'm not feeling that this week, so I might switch that around. So what I do is basically my like to spend my weekends with my family. Most people will have Saturday, Sunday as their big days, but because I don't work, I have the luxury of having Thursday and Friday as my big days. So when you're training for an Ironman, generally speaking, for cycling and running, I like to do it the whole lot as bricks. So if I've got cycling and running on the same day, I'll always do them as a brick. And so I find the more brick sessions you get in, the better. So what we're going to do then is my full weeks are Thursday and Friday. So because Ironman is swim, bike, run, I'd like to do it in that order. So Friday, you can see I've got 3 sessions here. I can do up to 3 sessions a day. I wouldn't do 4 sessions in a day. So Friday then is going to be my long run. So I'll put that into session 2, long run. So what I do in terms of long run is a progressive overload. I do 3 weeks build, 1 week recovery. 3 weeks build, 1 week recovery. Where I do 1, 2, 3, building up to a particular point, and then that recovery point usually drops down to something much lower, probably the week 1 volume, if that makes sense. So in terms of kilometers, I might go, for the long run, I might go 10, 12, 14 kilometers, then the rest week would drop back to 10 kilometers. So the next block would then pick up at point 2, which was 12. So the next block would go 12, 14, 16, with the recovery dropping back to 12. The next block would go 14, 16, 18, with the recovery dropping back to 14. Now, I spitball those numbers because I'm training for a full distance marathon. That would be like more like a 70.3. So my long run, spread out over 12 weeks, is going to hit a peak, excuse me, is going to hit a peak of probably somewhere in the vicinity of 30 to 35 kilometers. So if I'm looking at roughly a 10% increase over 10 plus weeks, I'm probably going to start my long run at 10 Ks. And if I build 2 Ks per week, that's going to get me to the 30 kilometers. So this long run, I'm hypothesizing this is week 1. I'm going to go back. I'm just showing you guys. So I'm just going to go back and fix these numbers. But my long run for week 1 would be, say, 10 kilometers. The early weeks are kind of easy. I wouldn't say easy, but like I don't want to overdo it. But the other thing to keep in mind is that I have got a lot of base built because of Ultraman, so I can start out a bit more heavier. So this is most likely going to be 15, but I actually have to sit down and look at the data and come up with those numbers. So as I said, I always do a brick. So here would be bike ride. Maybe I'll do 45 minutes. Basically just to simulate for the body that I'm going to get off the bike and I'm going to run. This bike doesn't really matter too much in terms of the workout that I'm getting. It's mainly just to get my body into this habit of getting off the bike and running. So because these 2 are my long days, Saturday will be recovery swim. And I'll just put, say, 3,000 yards. I'll put 2,800. My goal in swimming while I'm here is to go back and hit about 12 to 15,000 yards. Because I'm a very weak swimmer, I need the volume in order to get my swimming up to scratch. Now, because I mentioned previously, I do it in order of swim, bike, run. Because Friday's my long run, Thursday's my long bike, that means Wednesday is my long swim. So I do a long swim. This would be up to 4,500 yards in the pool. The Ironman distance is 3,900, so every Wednesday my long swim is going to be at least 3,900. The shortest swim I envision doing is going to be about 4,000 yards. And so what I do with this long swim is I have a continuous component. So at the start of my training plan, this continuous component might be 1,500 yards continuous, and I just build it. So I will have a brief at that 1,500, 4,500 yards. I might do 1,500 sets, like say, I don't know, 10 times 100 and some drills, then do the 1,500 continuous, and then finish with some sets. But the sets will get shorter and the continuous will get longer as the plan goes on. So swimming I can also do here, probably looking at say 3,000 yards on a Monday, because keep in mind Sunday is going to be rest day. I'm going to be training 6 days a week. Ultraman I was training 7 days, but Ironman I'm just going to do 6. So Sunday's a rest day. Swim will be 3,000. Tuesday I'm also going to swim, so we'll call that say 3,000 as well. Maybe it'll probably end up being 3,200. So just like that, I've got 4 swim sessions. That's 6, 10.5, 10.7, 12.7, 13,500 yards right there of swimming. The good thing with swimming is you can just do it as much as you like. Its impact on the body is very minimal, so it doesn't really matter. This recovery swim in here is quite laid back and easy. So my swims are filled in. So Thursday, back to this is the long bike day. So what I want to do, Lake Placid's extremely hilly, so I'm looking at probably somewhere around 5.5 to 6 hours for the bike ride. So I want to build my long ride to about 6.5 hours. I want to ride longer than I have to in training. I found that I did the same thing for Ultraman. I found it very effective. So we're going to have a bike ride here. Week 1 is probably going to be 3 hours. And my default run is always 45 minutes. That's just a shake the leg out type run. So I get off the bike, I do an easy 45 minutes. It's not setting any records. It's just, again, getting in that habit of running off the bike. So this bike ride will increase. I do just have this basic at the moment, bike ride 3 hours. There will be details for this. So I throw in sets of, say, 15 minutes at race pace, 10 minutes above race pace, and so on. Each bike ride is different. But generally speaking, it's centered around about 65 to 70% FTP. So you can see here, I've got long run, easy run. One rule I have is I never run 3 days in a row. So that means I cannot run on Wednesday. So Tuesday, I will do interval runs. So that means if I'm doing 2 sets, at least 2, if I'm doing at least 2 sets per day, Wednesday has to be a bike. So I'm going to be riding 3 days in a row. So this is going to be probably 1.5 hours at zone 2. So the reason for this is I just want to put volume in the legs. I don't believe that there's a saying that you can accumulate junk miles. I don't believe in junk miles. I think all miles are good miles. So anything you can get into the legs is a bonus. So that means because I've got bike, I don't want to do, I've got run here. So this one here has to be another run. So it'll go run, bike. So what we do here, this will be, because I've got interval sessions, as you recall, I'm 90-10, so this is going to be an easy run, anywhere from 45 to an hour. The important thing I'll mention here is that this particular session's Monday, Tuesday, which is going to be my speed workouts, in terms of, sorry, I've got one more session to add. And so what I'm going to add here on Monday, because Tuesday is going to be kind of like a rest from 3 days of bike. So this is going to be bike intervals. So these two will switch around. Actually, so this will be bike intervals. This will be run easy 1 hour. So what my Monday then will look like, I'll get down the pool early, do the 3,000, and then the bike intervals. So In terms of bike intervals and run intervals, the maximum, say for the run interval, is going to start at say 30 minutes. It'll climb to about 45 max. Bike intervals about 40 minutes, climbing to an hour max. Easy run, 45 minutes to an hour max. So even as 16 weeks goes on, these won't get any higher time-wise. They will increase in intensity, but time-wise they will not change. So that gives me 12 sessions over 6 days. So you can see I have a pretty full Monday, but because it's short and sharp, I then do this interval runs here. Wednesday is kind of easy, like a long swim with just a kind of a tiring of the legs. Thursday, my long ride and with an easy run off the bike, and Friday, easy ride with a longer run. And then you can see it really tapers down. Saturday, just a swim in the morning, and I got Saturday free. Sunday, complete rest day before I get back to it on Monday. So that gives me 12 sessions. You can see 4 swim sessions, 4 bike sessions, 4 run sessions. And in terms of time, you look at, say, swim, that's an hour of swimming. Bike intervals, let's call that an hour. And easy run, an hour. So I've got 3 hours there. Here I've got about an hour. Interval runs is going to be 45, so say 2 hours there. That's a bit over an hour. Here Wednesday we're looking at long swim is going to be 1.5 to 2 hours, so you're looking about 3.5 hours here. Thursday, looking at 3 hours 45. Friday, long run 10k is going to take me about an hour and a quarter, so 2 hours there. Keep in mind this is week 1, and Saturday you got an hour there. So that gives me a total for the week of 5, 8.5, 11.5, 12, 13, 14, 15 hours. A bit over 15 hours for week 1. And so the way that I get to up to 18 to 25 hours is this will always stay the same, this recovery swim, because the point is just to move my body. This long run obviously is going to increase, so it's going to increase these hours. Bike ride here, this won't go any higher than an hour. Again here, this won't change, but this will keep going up to 6.5, so add 3.5 hours there. So here at long run will get to 3 hours, so I can add 2 to this time. Bike ride here will go double in time, so we're looking at a 6-hour bike ride. I did say 6.5, so it could go higher. Long swim that won't really change. This here might go to 1.5, but I'm not going to add to that. That's probably going to be similar. 2 hours max, I would say. So we'll call that 0.5. Here, swim's not going to change. Interval runs are not going to change. Maybe a quarter. Yeah, I say a quarter of an hour. The same here. Not going to change, not going to change, not going to change. So maybe a quarter of an hour. And so what we have here is half, 1, 2, 3. That's 9 hours total. So you can see here I start with the base of 15 hours for the week, and it builds to 24 when I add this additional 9. And that's how I come up with a 16-week training plan. If anybody has any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to them, and I'm happy to go over any details you need to know about this as well. As I mentioned, the details of each of these workouts I keep in Garmin Connect, and also I have had training peaks plans before, and sometimes I take workouts from there. The other program I use is one called Trainer Day. It's a cycling program. I get a lot of my especially interval sessions from there. I'll go into that in another video, but bike intervals and run intervals and so on are pretty much, they sound complicated, but they're the same thing. They're just doing the same thing over and over again, basically varying intensities. And the only other thing is, please like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content. I do this largely just to play around with video editing and just give me something to keep me focused on my training. Thanks for watching.